So where the hell did this even come from? Well, that would be something called Libs of TikTok. Started as like the fourth attempt to go viral by some dipshit named Chaya Reichik. The account was signal boosted by Joe Rogan before devolving into basically an anti-LGBTQ account, labeling literally any instance of gay people existing around children as grooming. This video of Pete Buttigieg's husband leading a pride-themed Pledge of Allegiance at an LGBTQ camp for teens.
One camp, full of pride, indivisible, with affirmation and equal rights for all.
Apparently that's grooming. This video of a teacher talking about coming out as trans to her students?
So none of the kids knew me as trans, but I wanted to talk about it. So what I did is, as soon as I came back, I joined up with the GSA, realized how many questions the kids had, and decided the best thing to do would be to host a Q&A.
Grooming again. The account made to, mock the snowflake intolerant left would openly call for any teacher who comes out to their students to be fired on the spot. Incidentally, the teacher referred to in that tweet I just showed said he came out to his students because a student asked him if he was gay because the student's parents said to the student that they thought he was gay because of his voice. So the teacher was like, "Yeah, I'm gay." Fired! Anyway, that tweet and many others have been deleted. I wonder why. But so what you'd imagine here is that any halfway reasonable person would realize that this simply isn't what grooming is. Nor is it anything but hateful to compare teachers simply coming out to their students or promoting pride to a camp specifically for gay kids to being a child predator. It's nonsense. The kind of decades-old gibberish the Westboro Baptist Church would scream to nobody outside of a Comic-Con. And coincidentally, the account was apparently a source of inspiration for none other than Christina Pushaw, DeSantis' press secretary we mentioned earlier, who has claimed that this account somehow has evidence that grooming is happening. You know, if you define grooming as a gay person breathing near a child and evidence as being mad at ghosts online. So there you have it, a single Twitter account promoting false news stories and run by a viral-hungry, hateful Trump supporter who, after being, big quotes, doxxed, claimed that her house was egged by posting literally the first photo that shows up when you Google house egged and then deleting it, is actually being used as the factual justification behind this entire bill. And subsequently, the completely baseless claim that it prevents grooming in any way. I can't stress this enough. None of this is about grooming. Like, it clearly is not. And yet this narrative has spun so wildly out of control that when Disney took an albeit cowardly stance against the bill, conservatives labeled them as pro-grooming along with anyone who speaks up against the bill that, I can't stress this enough, doesn't in any way have anything to do with grooming. Like, I'm sure not about to defend a multinational corporation doing the bare minimum to support LGBTQ people, but it's wild that, well, a multinational corporation doing the bare minimum to support LGBTQ people is enough for the anti-cancel culture GOP to go scorched fucking earth when they dare to publicly oppose them. And by scorched earth, I mean, relieving a corporation of billions in financial obligations and passing it on to taxpayers. That'll show them. It's gotten so bad that even other Republicans aren't safe if they even think about straying off the narrative. When Nate Hochman, a fellow for the conservative magazine National Review, pointed out on Twitter that even if teachers are indoctrinating kids with gender ideology, that's not the same thing as pedophilia, a bunch of people, including intellectual powerhouse and normal chill guy James Lindsay, immediately accused him of being a groomer. This does seem to be James's go-to response for everyone, ranging from California Representative Adam Schiff to random comedians on the internet to fucking Oreo cookies. They're just throwing out words here and hoping it sticks. A plan the GOP operative and religious think tank weirdo Christopher Rufo has flat out admitted to regarding the CRT panic, and now this. For more info on Rufo, here's our CRT episode that he apparently saw and immediately went to Twitter to block me. But anyway, again, it's just throwing stuff out and conflating a bunch of things under one fear-mongering umbrella. Or even worse, flat out admitting that they consider any mention of LGBTQ people as dangerous grooming. This would be a downright archaic view of discussing sexual orientation. At best, it's childish in that you'd be conflating the words sexuality and sexual into one concept simply because it has the word sex in it. But again, Ben Shapiro literally called Luke Skywalker an indoctrinator of sexual ideology after he simply said the word gay a bunch. It's very funny that they pretend that's not what they're concerned about while literally being openly concerned about it, you know? You can't claim the bill isn't telling teachers not to say gay and then claim that tweeting the word gay is grooming kids. That's like saying you're not scared of spiders and then shitting your pants while watching Charlotte's Web. At the end of the day, even though it is more insidious and will probably cause violence, the term groomer is basically being used as the new woke that was the new CRT that was the new SJW. It's a broad, vague term that conservatives use when they can't just flat out say what they mean, because what they mean is widely accepted as hateful when said aloud. And they know this. They know that anti-LGBTQ stances are dying. A 2021 PBS NewsHour poll found that when asked directly about whether or not trans people should have access to all the things these bills are trying to take away, 2/3 of Americans were against laws that would limit transgender rights. This wasn't just liberals either, but spread out through every ideology and age group. Young people are, of course, more accepting of racial and LGBTQ minorities than their parents and grandparents, and younger generations see changes to society and family structures as positives. So instead of saying anti-trans laws, they have to go with anti-groomer in the hopes of invoking irrational fears, or, as we discussed, rational concerns dealt with irrationally. Honestly, I'm surprised they don't do this more often. I mean, they absolutely do, but not nearly as much as they could. You want to limit healthcare rights? Call it health grooming instead. Why should the government pay to have some anatomy-obsessed stranger look inside of our bodies? I'm now against that. All pediatricians are pedophiles now. Both words start the same, don't they? However, unlike most of those previous words we mentioned, groomer and pedophile are actual terms that mean something, especially to victims of sexual abuse. It is profoundly ironic that by co-opting those phrases, the people pretending to care about sexual abuse are actually making it harder for victims. After all, the same way terms like woke have lost all meaning, so too will these very real concepts. If you call any old person that refuses to use your experimental submarine a pedophile, then you make it so people will automatically tune out actual credible accusations of pedophilia. But again, and I really can't stress this enough, they don't actually care about pedophilia or groomers. If they did, they would perhaps be more concerned about the shocking pattern of Republican lawmakers getting in trouble for just that, including our good buddy Matt Gaetz being involved in a fucking sex trafficking scandal, and the last GOP president of the United States openly creeping on teenage beauty queens. Also, the longest serving Speaker of the House, former GOP representative and convicted pedophile, Dennis Hastert. I'm not using the term pedophile or groomer loosely, like conservatives are doing. These are literal cases of GOP figures getting in trouble for literal acts against minors. Oh, also, you know who else the GOP loves who famously sexually abused children? Cops! It's actually a big problem. Let me just read a few sentences out loud. A 2003 national study by the Police Professionalism Initiative written by Professor Samuel Walker at the University of Nebraska at Omaha found that 40% of reported cases of police sexual misconduct involved teens, often young women involved in youth engagement and job shadowing programs. Let's see any more sentences to read. Ah, yes, okay. A 2010 study by the Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank that tracks police wrongdoing, found that sexual misconduct by law enforcement generates more citizen complaints than any other factor except for excessive force. Surely I have more sentences. Oh, okay, yes, here we go. A database compiled by the Buffalo News reports that from 2005 to 2015, a law enforcement official was caught in a case of sexual abuse or misconduct at least every 5 days. There are still a lot of states where cops can rape detainees, say it was consensual, which is literally impossible because they're detained, and get away with it. Oh, and follow up on that 2003 study that found 40% of reported cases of sexual misconduct by cops to involve teens. Here's a separate study from 2014 that found reported cases of sexual misconduct involving teens to be 43.1%. So I guess cops can improve. Great job to the boys in blue. Also, 15% of the victims were under 14. 8% were under 12. So, I don't know. It's just weird that we're not seeing any "don't say you're a cop" bills. Curious what that's about. None of this is subjective. These are just facts. You can agree with certain conservative policies or stances, but you can't deny that they have absolutely no fucking right to police teachers or LGBTQ people for the purposes of stopping grooming when there's zero evidence to back them up. It's just cold, hard hate-mongering. And if you really need it spelled out, look no further than the now failed Tennessee proposal that attempted to create an alternate pathway to legal marriage that would not be available to same-sex couples. First of all, petty, spiteful bill, which did crash and burn, but not before people pointed out that they had included absolutely no age limit to who could get hitched, opening the door to literal child marriages. They went on to amend the bill to fix that, but this so perfectly points out how little the GOP actually cares about pedophilia or grooming, and in fact, just wants to take away the rights of gay people. In writing this bill, they were either so focused on taking away these rights or just didn't care that they were ready to accept child brides so long as those child marriages weren't same-sex. Point is, this is all the exact opposite of everything they claim to care about, and should be rejected and mocked by anyone who isn't actively trying to attack the LGBTQ community, right? Like, you don't even have to be an advocate. If you think that everyone should have equal rights and that pedophilia is bad, you have no good reason to be supporting the majority of the Republican Party. Hey, thanks for watching that clip. Here's the evergreen end plate to ask you to like and subscribe. It's any day of the year where you are.